Hello everybody, welcome to People, where it's great people, power to the people. Y'all running? Power to the people.
This is people to people, power to power,
Power to the people.
I will get some rest.
I will get it right, you guys, but thank you for joining us. I'm Christy Love, and I'm going to do a quick segment before Rodney jumps on with our special guest, and tonight it is kid friendly, but we are going to have a little adult talk about alpha females. So for one, I am an alpha female. Not so proud of it anymore, but my definition of an alpha female is someone who is basically strong, confident, and doesn't mind doing everything for themselves. It's not that they choose to do everything for themselves, but it's just kind of easier. But in my case, I have to, because now I'm divorced. I kind of pick up more testosterone for survival mode, which makes me an alpha male. And I'm also taught to get what I want. So that also takes a part of being an alpha male. Alpha female, which kind of I take on the role of a male as well, because I have the extra testosterone for survival. So it's a whole psych thing that I have that's in my head on how I survive the things I went through for a divorce. And it takes a lot of strength to be like the man and the woman of the household. So as that happens, and now that I want to get into another relationship, the conversation that I'm having with myself is, how do I tone down the alpha female so I can have another relationship with a man that wants to be involved and help support me? And it's a lot of deprogramming that I'm going through, and a lot of trust. So it's a lot of me being able to trust that that person will help take care of me and not abandon me. And so that's a process of trusting the person, trusting myself that it's okay to give it a go again, to fall in love, and not have to do everything for myself, not have to make every decision for myself. Because when you're in a relationship, when I'm in a relationship, my decisions will also affect the person I'm with. So I'm learning how to involve the other person, my boyfriend, and have conversations. The last conversation we had is that I do want him to be the leader of my household. So even though we've been dating for years, over 4 years, it took that long for me to trust and for him to be able to, guide me. He's not taking over my household, but he's guiding me. Because I do believe that men have a special logical thinking that I don't have. I just don't have it. I wasn't built to have it. And I'm just so tired of carrying everything and being so aggressive. And I do want help. I do want a man to be involved in my life. I do want a man to take care of me. It's just the problem of switching over being the leader of my household, and it's just a process. So if you have any comments or questions, you can type it in. Also, you can call in at 703 752-6120, 703-752-6120. And so also I have this theory that being an alpha female, again, that we talked about testosterone, it also takes effect in relationships as far as, I'm going to talk about something about same-sex relationships, so if you don't want your children to hear about that, or if you're a Christian that don't want to know about that, please just turn away for about 10 minutes, and then Rodney's going to have a special guest, and I will be done with my segment. But as a relationship, I was with a female, and she was a touch-me-not, and she was the alpha female of the relationship. But when she met me, because I'm used to being the alpha female, she wasn't able to play her role. So we're also talking about alpha females and roles in a relationship. So it kind of flipped because I was so aggressive on how I wanted things to be. Not controlling, but in a loving way. I just took care of her. Like I would want a man to take care of me. I actually took care of her. And so the roles flipped, and we were able to still have a nice relationship, but instead of her being the the stud or whatever you want to call it in the relationship, it ended up flipping without us even thinking about it. So in any kind of relationship, it doesn't matter if it's heterosexual or, it doesn't matter. It's just me, if I was coaching someone as I coach myself, it doesn't matter what your relationship looks like. It doesn't have to be the woman does the dishes and the man does the lawn. It's just how you come together. It's just to put down your guards, to be open and to say, hey, my husband likes baking. I like woodwork. It's okay. But to have that conversation, to understand each other. I know my son, he's 24, and he likes being the man and the head of the household. But even he doesn't say, oh, honey, you have to cook. It's just when she cooks, what he does is he spends time with her and he cooks with her. Even though he has the views that he should be the head of the household, he doesn't push that on her. He just makes sure he carries himself as the man of the household, making sure she's comfortable, she's taken care of, and that also income-wise, that that the budget is based on his income. That way, when they split the bills, whatever's left for her is her money. So that's another way about the roles, and but she's not an alpha female, so that was probably easy. For me, it would take me a little bit of time to surrender my bills and all my concerns and to work on the trust. So what I did to work on trust is that I did a little bit at a time with my boyfriend, and I had to have a conversation with myself, saying, I was coaching myself, and I was saying, I can't expect my boyfriend to do husband things. It's a choice that if he wants to make that choice. Because he's a boyfriend, we're not at that point yet where I want, where he's going to do the honeydew list. When you're married and you got the honeydew list and it goes like this and the husband's never done, it wasn't fair for me to put that on him. So when he wasn't doing those things, I was like, I want you to be the head of the household and I want you to do these things for me. We had a conversation. I was like, what's the deal? Why aren't you doing these things I'm requesting that you're able to do? And what he said was that in his previous relationship, the woman actually abused him and was like the alpha female and was too aggressive. And so by her being so aggressive, it kind of like messed him up. So now we're working on both of us surrendering and just working on communicating and how we want to run our relationship. It doesn't have to look a certain way, but because I am an alpha female, he's being very, very patient with me. So that's the coaching that I did with myself, is to just let my walls down and let him help me, but at his own speed, and not give him the honeydew list. He is not my husband yet, and he's already warned me he's been mistreated that way, and he prefers for us to work it out and make it our own together. Not just my picture of what I think he should do, but what we should do together. So that is my coaching session for today. This is Christy Love, and I want to welcome Rodney with People to People, and he's going to introduce our special guest that is very special to his heart. Thank you for joining our segment, and Rodney, over to you.
As you know, yes, it's people to people, power to power, positive to people. And you know what I say every time I get on here? I'm thankful. It's another day for me to do what I do. Thank you, Christy Love. I appreciate you. As we know, Christy Love is what she's doing. She's trying to build a relationship with many people and talk about relationships. So as we move forward, it's going to be different topics. She's going to come on, and it's all a process to be able to help educate people on how to network with one another and to really be able to move forward and change your life. I'm not even going to make it a long drawn-out situation, because today, guess what? I got an amazing man in here with me, and his name is Donte Cunningham. So, that's me. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you. This is my man right here. Let me tell y'all. No, it's okay. I'm going to do the adjustments. But I can tell you right now, this guy has been working with me for many years. Actually, we started out I was 16 when he was 16 years old, and it's amazing where you are today, man. I'm so proud of you. It's amazing where I am. It's amazing where you are today. You know what I mean? Like,
I believe in giving people their flowers. You know what I mean? One of my good friends and good clients always talks about time is the one currency that we cannot get back. And so who you spend your time with is very important. And I mean, yeah, we started to spend time together when I was 16. Won't age myself right now, but you know, I'm definitely in my early 30s. But yeah, man, and you've been nonstop. You know what I mean? PTP means a lot of things to a lot of different people, but from the ones that have been in it, like myself at the beginning, it's a way of life. It's a way of culture. It's a way of our history. It's the way that we have traveled across the world. It's the way that we have done a lot of things. So, yeah, I'll let you take it back.
No. You know, that's what we do. You know, we was a tag team anyway.
Oh, man, they couldn't mess with Batman and Robin.
You already know. They ain't had nothing on us, man. I was always intrigued and I always felt like a superhero when I had you with me.
Man,
for you
vice versa.
Man, it was like, for you to be so young at the time, man, you was way ahead of your time.
Yeah.
And so I know I've taken the time to tell you before, but I tell you again, man, much love and respect for you, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
I was hoping that the whole team was going to be in here today and where they was going to be able to actually get a chance for me to really talk about the things that you have accomplished and how you've been doing things, and you know, and how we help each other.
This is part one.
This is part one, because this man is always welcome in here. But what was just so intriguing, man, is just to watch you being a young man that you wasn't afraid to take on things. So the topic today is where you going and where you from.
Okay.
Right? Where you going and where you from. And the reason why I chose that topic, because people need to know where they're going and where they came from, right? And you were one of them that proved that with everything that you was doing. Talk about what you've been into.
Man, well, let's talk about the past. It sounds like you're doing past the future, you know what I mean, or past the present, I should say. And future can be added in there. I think for me, when we met, again, 16 years old, I had a different name other than Donte Cunningham, MC King K9. And you know what I mean? If my dad was watching right now, he would be screaming in front of the TV, you know, because he's known as King K9. But MC King K9, man, MC King back in the day, I host parties, you know what I mean, clubs. I did Eagle Palooza at Thomas Edison. High school, I did that for a couple years, actually. So you talk about party planning to promotion, to hosting high school events, to hosting pep rallies. I mean, to bringing in, you know what I mean, a lot of artists and working gospel shows with you, working hip-hop shows with you, DJ Cool, the Dougie Fresh, you know what I mean, with just some of the names we used to have at some of our shows. But yeah, I mean, I think that's what got me out there. I think that's what got me exposed. And, you know what I mean, working with you got me exposed to a lot of different doors. And a lot of different doors closed in front of us, a lot of different doors for me open as well. But I also I have to give you credit, or PTP credit, because without that exposure, none of this would have been possible. I mean, I could sit here and tell you that I'm from FBI, Washington, D.C. field office. I won't go into what I did, or, you know what I mean, the actual job that I was doing at the time. That's classified, top secret. But, you know, you can start talking about from going, you know, from being a promoter to going to the bureau, to leaving the bureau, to working for higher celebrities, you know, from working with celebrities to working with dignitaries, to working with diplomats, to being on my third passport and traveling around the globe 3-4 times, you know, and racking up a whole bunch of sky miles, because that's how much I travel. But you also talk about things about helping people and listening to people's stories and giving back to schools and meeting some young professionals like I was when I was 16, and really taking the time to pour back into the community. So, you know what I mean, there's a lot of, you know, full-profit things, but there's also a lot of non-profit things that, you know what I mean, I still do. I still work with a lot of schools. I still work with a lot of students. I mentor just how you mentored me when I was 16 years old. I've been able to give that back to a lot of kids that, you know what I mean, have just surpassed where I am, you know what I mean, to be, I think I'm 33 now, April 5th, 33 Aries, but from 16 to 33, in that time period, man, I've been through ups and downs. I've been through trials and tribulations, but we haven't given up. You know what I mean? I haven't given up. You know what I mean? We don't talk every day like we used to, but that support is still there. And I think when somebody makes an impact on your life, they make it for a lifetime.
That's right. That's right.
From 16 to 33, you know what I mean, it's just me talking, but, you know, you talk about the kids that you work with, you know what I mean, from my age to now, I mean, that impact, that motivation. I was telling somebody recently, as recent as maybe 6 months ago, that my mentor used to tell me the most powerful person in the room was the one that was not saying anything, the one that was quiet. We would go into these big meetings and ask for a lot of money. You would tell me not to say anything, you know what I mean? And I would be mad. I would be actually pretty furious because I feel like I had a lot of ideas at the time. But then I realized, and you know, sometimes you just gotta watch your mentor, you gotta listen. And I realized actually not saying anything in the meeting is more powerful than actually speaking up, because then you got everybody trying to figure out who are you, what you do, and why did this person not say anything in the meeting. And then you start to have these side conversations later on and be like, the person and be like, well, why didn't he talk or anything like that? And you also are sitting back, but you're also absorbing. So as I'm not talking, I'm also absorbing. So when we got to do our recap, I'm like, hey, these are the things that he said that we need to pay attention to. You might have missed it, but it was one person listening, it was one person talking. Two, just like there can't be two chefs in the kitchen. Well, if you're married or if you got a girlfriend, well, if you got a significant other, there could be two chefs in the kitchen. I won't get nobody out there in trouble, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know what I mean? One chef, one person plater, everybody has a role, everybody has a job to do.
It was like you said, when we used to go in there, you was way ahead of your time. And many times, the reason why I really wanted you to be quiet, because you actually could pick out who we need to talk to. You always knew who the contact people were.
Still learning, see?
Yeah, and the one thing that was so powerful, that's how we ended up working with the different celebrities. We won't give all the details on how we did it, but Russell Simmons, you remember you called me on the phone, you was like,
let's just say, you know what I mean, let's be transparent. I think, you know what I mean, if you believe in, you know what I mean, whoever you believe in, you know, I believe in, you know what I mean, God, I believe in my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and I believe when there's a will, there's a way. And I think in entertainment, in any business, and this goes for everybody, figure out how to make it happen. You know what I mean? I'm not condoning stealing, lying, cheating, or anything like that, but I am telling you, if you want to get somewhere, if you want to do something, you got to figure out how to put yourself in a position to get in front of those people, to get in front of all that personal people or talent, and be able to sell your product. You know what I mean? Old school, it's the elevator pitch. You know what I mean? 60 seconds is what you got. And yes, there has been some incidents where together, team, I'm going to take full credit, we're going to take this credit together, but like, we have found ourselves working for different people, and we might have opened a couple back doors, we know what I mean? Maybe not like Ludacris said, you know what I mean, rush the back door and bring them in, but we have opened the back door. And we have allowed, you know what I mean, some people to walk through, but it's also because your presence, who you are, and who you're trying to be, you have to position yourself to become who you're trying to be. You know what I mean? Even if you're not being that, you know, if you're not a CEO, who's to stop you from putting on the suit and getting a business card that says CEO, if that's something that you're going to? So now we're talking about the future. If you're trying to go somewhere, what's the problem with you looking like where you're trying to go?
That's right.
If I'm homeless, I mean, I look homeless every day. You don't know how much money I got in my pocket right now. You don't know what my credit cards are. But if I come here looking the part, smelling like the part, acting like the part, if I have done my research and I can successfully speak educatedly may not be a word, but if I can speak with my mind and educate myself to where I'm trying to go, why not? What's stopping you?
Well, you know, one of my saying was always saying, if you can conceive it, then
You can achieve it.
And one of the things that we did, as you said, it was times I remember when I'll be speaking in different locations, and this is so funny. the roles would flip, because I remember you came in a few times as security with me.
Yeah.
And this is when you started your security company.
It is.
And now, I remember somebody questioned me one time and said, who you think you are, you got security? Well, what they didn't realize is that we was actually living the life.
Yeah.
And we needed to do certain things. But what they didn't realize is that you were practicing building your company.
I was.
And as you was practicing, you was also building.
Yep.
And you was doing it. And it was the funniest thing is this. You hired me.
We have reversed roles several times.
Yeah, you end up being my boss on several different occasions.
Because that's also, again, I have a very old soul, my friends, family tell you, but I also believe if you can't conceive, you can't achieve it, but you also keep the money in the family. You know what I mean? So when we did get offers, yes, it wasn't about a title thing. It was about, hey, this is going to put us in a position to take us somewhere else. And so let's all go do it. You know what I mean? Let's do it together.
It was phenomenal. I just want to do a shout out to our guests and let them know that we had an individual that worked with us who passed away, Big Herb.
Yes.
Yeah, and much respect, rest in peace.
Yes.
But I remember you hired her and I. And where did we go? We went to Mississippi or something.
We went to Birmingham, Alabama for Kevin Lyle's wedding.
No, that was one of them.
That was one. That's when we got the chicken wings.
That's when we got the baby.
You want to tell chicken wing story?
You messed around and asked was we hungry, and they must have killed 1,000 chickens.
I believe in taking care of my family, and we did a huge budget, a big huge wedding for the Lyles family. And, at the end of our 2-day shift, working 24/7, motorcades, police escorts, every celebrity from top to bottom, my team said they were hungry. So, I had a car room service, and room service sent them 100 buffalo wings, at about 2 o'clock in the morning.
I mean, they was stacked.
Yeah.
And that was phenomenal, man. That was one of the times I was most proud of you. I watched you, man. Like you said, we was down there and the police department was answering to you, which I was your top security guy while you was running the celebrities.
You were my number 2, man.
Yeah.
So either had to go through me or had to go through you.
Yeah.
And Big Herb, man.
My God.
Big Herb was taken from us very early, due to cancer. And, she's just a strong woman, While we're on the topic, rest in peace, Big Herb. And then also Sheila Stewart from WKLS 93.9.
Yeah, Sheila Stewart.
I know I wouldn't be a lot of places without her connections and her people that she put me in front of. Those are 2 deaths that have really taken our industry, pretty hard, because those were 2 powerful black women,
God.
Just like Chrissy was talking about, being an alpha woman. Alpha woman is an amazing thing, and both of them, Big Herb was 6'4", she was about 275 pounds, had a long ponytail, and she wore tons of jewelry on her head.
And she always had her nails done.
And she was not playing. So keep alpha women around, because they are strong. You do need them. You just got to be very delicate with them.
Yeah, it was just amazing, man. But like I said, the reason why I chose the topic is, knowing where you came from, know where you're going.
Yep.
I just remember so many times, and I want people out there to know that you're never too old to learn something, because during our journey, a lot of people used to question our friendship.
Yes.
They was like, how you going to be your best friend and he that old? Or they'd say that to me, how you going to call him your best friend and he's that young? Y'all don't understand that I knew my back was taken care of 1,000%.
100%.
It was, man, you used to do stuff for me, man, that was like, it was crazy. And then the connections that you were making, you get on the phone, you was phenomenal. I'm not surprised what you're doing today. I'm not surprised about your traveling. Man, you don't call me from Dubai. You don't call me from... I'm going to tell you, if he could get to Mars, he'll be there.
That's so true.
Very true, man.
So when I tell you, I'm just really, really proud of you. Sometimes I really, really find myself struggling because I missed the relationship, because you was always the one that could think out of the box.
Yep.
You be on phone calls with my man down in...
So, wait, I disagree. I wasn't the one that would be the one that would think out the box. I'm the one that didn't allow you to put limits on yourself. I think a lot of people in the past have tried to put you into this box. And even the box that I'm drawing right now is very small, it's very minute, you can't move. And I think when I describe a box, I don't make a hand gesture, you know what I mean? And I think that goes for everybody. I think people tried to put us into a box when they talk about our relationship, but we were like-minded individuals, which is why we got along so good. Even though there's a big age difference, that has nothing to do with it, but we thought the same, and we didn't really put limits on us, you know what I mean? Even, a couple months, you know what I mean, we had a conversation at your studio beforehand, and people were trying to put you into a box and try to, you can't control somebody who's a free spirit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There you go.
Free spirits are free spirits.
Right.
Period. That's period. End of conversation.
Right.
And when you try to, it's like a dove. If you try to put a dove into a cage, it's going to panic. It's not going to go nowhere. It can't grow. You can't grow inside of a box. So I think for you, I made sure that box was always kicked out of the way when somebody would try to put you in the box, so you'd be able to fly and you would be free.
It was just phenomenal, the things that we did, and we always had an idea where we were going.
100%.
That was what's so important with many people, and I wanted a lot of people today to understand, know where you're going, know what your agenda is. Don't just go out there and be running blind. Some of the things that you used to do when you would come to me and they call me Pops. And you come and say, Pops, yo man, I'm getting ready to do this. And I was like, okay, handle your business. Now, when some people would tell you, because we had doubters.
Yeah.
And then, but like I said,
Cat Williams calls them haters.
Yeah.
You need 3-4 more haters.
We had them, and it was just phenomenal that you and I again. We always encourage each other. Go do it.
Yeah.
And you take note.
And you push me. I remember in Court Kelly, which is a recreation center in Alexandria, Virginia. But I think I came to you and told you like, hey, I wanted to work for the FBI, and people laughed and and doubted. And then there was a day I raised, I think, $15,000 through Naima Booker, who was working for Verizon Wireless at the time, and Verizon Wireless gave $15,000 to an organization through the FBI that we were working with. And I remember taking you to Bishop Bo, and I said, look at the table. He was like, oh, you talking about look at the table? And I showed you my credentials, you know what I mean? And that moment when I started working for the Bureau was epic. But again, you didn't say, hey, you can't do this. You didn't say this is not possible. We had other people to say that, but you was like, go for it. You know what I mean? Like we had, I had people that work in the security industry that said, hey, you wouldn't be able to do this. But if I list the names of people from Trey Songz to Angie Stone to, Wanda Sykes to Common to some of the names that I currently work for now, it is ridiculous of who and what we have done because of that motivation. Again, that's just giving you, once again, your flowers that you continue to push people through all the naysayers and vice versa. I think it was a yin and yang thing. When you had doubts, you would call me and vice versa. So look at us, look at where we both are now. It's not just me.
It's amazing. I just know that even with what's going on now, that God has got a lot of big things planned for us. And I just know that eventually we're going to be sitting down one day on this yacht, and we're going to be laughing, we're going to be talking and saying, yo, man, you remember this? And I just, again, never give up, because you inspire me too. Every time I turned around, I was like, what you doing? Another celebrity or music artist you working for? Or you'll call me, and I was like, where are you? And I'm talking about you that flew out the country. Last week you was in one part of the world, and now the next week you're in another.
Yeah, my newly fiance says to me all the time, she doesn't understand, or not that she questions, but she be trying to figure out, how do I do all the things that I do right now? How do I manage a full-time job? I manage my company, I manage my family, manage our relationship, manage all my employees and my staff, and it goes back to having a great team and great people around you, because without them it's nothing possible. Even my VP Maurice Hughes, my VP of operations Amber Simmons, but it is a team effort, and it starts from the bottom to the top, man.
And that's why I was hoping that my whole team was here.
It's all right. You're gonna do part 2.
Yeah,
I'll come back.
I wanted them to understand where we started. And
we started from nothing. We started from Pimp Juice,
Yes.
which was by Nelly.
Yep.
And cases of pimp juice and cases of vitamin water.
Yep.
And getting those sponsors to give them back out to kids. And we started doing little recreational parties. Again, Eagle Palooza, it may sound weird, but at this high school is a high school pep rally. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And for them to bring in an outsider to host their, Ed Casso, you know what I mean, would make custom clothes for us. I used to work for Mesquite, who now has a shop in Atlanta, and Ed Casso's doing big things. And I mean, we gave light to all these small businesses that were trying to be something, and now all of us have grown, you know what I mean? Yeah. We ain't never been in the studio like this when I was 16, 17 years old. Yeah. You know what I mean? We never had this opportunity. So again, this is another level of growth. You know what I mean? At that time, you know what I mean? You wasn't there, you know what I mean? And now you are, you know what I mean? So you got to think about things that have really molded you. And to be honest, a kid said to me the other day when I was at a school, he was like, you are at the peak of your career. And I said, no. It's taken me 15 years to get to what you may consider to be the peak, but I'm just starting. You know what I mean? I got a strong black woman. I mean, she a little light skinned, you know what I mean? But you know what I mean? But I got a strong black woman beside me. You know what I mean? I got the help of my friends and family, and now the foundation. All we did was we built the foundation. Now it's time to start taking the next couple steps up the ladder and growing and bringing things to fruition. But you got to know where you're trying to go. If you have no vision, you know what I mean, you have nothing. So even if you're young and you're trying to figure out, you know what I mean, what you're trying to do, or again, going back to our opening speaker, have a plan, have a vision of where you're trying to go. Mark it off day by day. You know what I mean? The honey to-do list, that's great. But let's take it day by day. Let's take it hour by hour, step by step. Don't try to jump before you start taking steps. It don't work like that.
Don't put the cart before the horse.
There you go. See, that's that old school wisdom right there.
And then on top of that, I was getting ready to throw in when you said having a strong black woman, your mother.
100%.
Your mom, Lisa.
100%. I came out with a big old head.
Hey. And we ain't gonna forget about Big Guy.
Yeah, man.
My man. Much respect to them because they was always supportive of everything that you was doing, man.
And they didn't always tell me, you know what I mean. And again, two-parent household is rare these days. But they didn't always tell me yes. My dad was, my mom and dad are both ex-military, but my dad was the no guy. Mom was definitely a little bit more compassionate, which our ladies are, or our women are, but at the same time, Dad used to tell me no. But him telling me no inspired me to push the envelope anymore. You know what I mean? So can I have somebody do this? Like, no, go figure it out. Figure it out yourself. So from small, and again, I haven't always been doing these big things, but small catering companies like Sylvia's International Cuisine, you know what I mean, to like doing market festivals with my aunt who has a barbecue. You know what I mean? These are all little things that gradually set me up for success in the later years of my life, you know what I mean? Traveling around with you, you know what I mean? You guys may never have heard of a Hummer 86,
right?
But we had it, and we had 9 tires on it, you know what I mean?
And not many people, when they saw the vehicle, they didn't even know, how did y'all get it?
Exactly, because again, there was no limits, and I think if we're talking about where we have come from, you cannot put a cap on success. You can't put a cap on friendship, and you can't put a cap on distance, because sometimes you do need the distance to grow separately and then come back together. And to be honest, I think that's what we've done. Like COVID, even prior to COVID, I think, life happened. You know what I mean? It's nothing bad or good, but life happened. We grew apart. We bringing it back in, and now we continue to go up on the elevator. And, once again, I know when you have this opportunity, I may be sitting here, but it's really about the person who is responsible for all this, which again is you. You know what I mean? You have been through some trials and tribulations. You have had, some down moments. And again, we talk about mental health, but mental health is very important because mental health is something we all go through. I spent the weekend, I just got off the Millennium Tour with Ashanti, Bow Wow, Lloyd, who is my artist, Yin Yang Twiz, and a couple other people. But we had a powerful prayer, and one of the girls in the prayer said, I thought about committing suicide. And when she said that this was last week, we didn't know her mom had just passed away. But she came out to hang out with us, and that was the uplifting that saved her life. And she shared that during the prayer before our last show in Vegas the other day. And those are moments that, again, just being genuine, just being kind, just being there for people and giving people their flowers, that you would never know how you're really impacting somebody's life. So when somebody says, hey, you guys as a team collectively, you saved my life from where I wanted to go, that is very powerful. And those are the people that you guys just got to keep around. Genuine people. You don't find genuine people in this industry a lot. So when you find them, you definitely got to hold on to them.
And that's very important for all of us to know that it's not just about you, it's not just about me, but it's about us.
100%.
And that's one of the reasons why this is called People to People. It's People to People with Rodney Grimes. My guest today, I had a surprise host because I was trying to surprise my wife because I wanted my wife not to know that this is my road dog 100%. I don't care where he at. He could be in Tuckahoe, Mississippi, you know what I mean? But he's always in my mind and in my heart because he's just a go-getter, and so, you know, this is Donte Cunningham, and this dude is one of the most amazing young men I ever met in my life.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Yeah, that's unreal. As you know, I lost my mother-in-law on September 23rd.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm bringing her up is because she adored you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She
did.
adored you.
She truly did.
She was like, many times she wanted to know where you
Where
are,
he
what you're doing.
was. She says, "Where's Donte in the world?"
We laughed because we didn't know where you was. We knew you were doing good, but we just didn't know. We tell him, just don't tell him where he at right now. But one thing I can tell you, he's doing something positive.
Yeah.
Well, I think one thing I'm glad I was able to come see you after a dinner that you had, and I believe Z went to go see Mom after that, and I think that was probably the last message that I probably got to her. So again, I look at that like, you know, divine intervention, and God brought us. Even though I was rushing from the airport to get to your event, I didn't make it, but I was able to come by and was able to hug you and Z was on the way to see her mother. And so I think that was the last message, and at least God gave me that opportunity to send that message before, you know me, she went to a better place without, you know, all this stress and drama that we all deal with on a daily basis, because again, you know, it is rough and it's tough, but, you know, God doesn't make mistakes, and that's how we have to look at that.
That's true.
Again,
Amen.
just for so many people, this guy right here is, he's just an amazing young man. You, in a way, you're my mentor now.
Now stop it. now you're showing off for the cameras. Now you're showing off for the cameras. No, man, like, listen, a lot of you guys watching, and you guys have been tuned into Rodney for a long time. But what you got to understand is that he is a human being, and he is a man of God. And if everybody came on this live or this stream or this podcast and told you about all the times where we have been at our worst, all the times that we have been our happiest, y'all don't understand what this guy means to a lot of people. Some people won't come on here, you know what I mean? And that's okay, and share their story. But we know what we have done for everybody, and for the ones that's just getting hip to people, power to power, positive thinking people, and understanding if you can conceive, you can achieve it. This man is the true definition of a black man giving back to the community, a black man that does a lot out of his pocket, a black man just being strong and continue to push forward. So yes, if you look at me and say, Donte, you have a security company and you work for all these celebrities and dignitaries and diplomats, that's great. I have a nonprofit, I have all these little different things, but again, there's still a driving force behind every single thing that you do. And a lot of the driving force between my younger years, definitely my parents, but again, outside of the parent bubble was definitely you. And so, you know, you can't let a day go past without giving somebody their flowers, you know what I mean? Lloyd has been my client for a long time, and he really, really preaches that. And again, time is the one form of a currency that you cannot get back. So who you spend your time with is very important.
I had to pull this out because I just received this.
I heard.
Yeah.
I heard. And the medal too.
Yeah.
And this is much, and this is right here. This is much deserved. Because you talk about a community activist and you talk about somebody that's really in it. He's not in it for the check. A lot of people are in it for the check or in it for the money. He's in it to help touch people and mold people. And again, I'm a direct reflection of everything that you have instilled in all the kids that you have mentored. And, I'll just put myself in a position to not be boxed in.
We used to do the PTP showcase, and we'd start off with not $1. And by the time we look around, you remember Nate Jenkins?
I do remember Nate.
So Nate and I on the show together on Man in the Mirror. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, they be up in here with me. Nate is back in the day, and I think that's how I met Nate, somehow through you. You made some connection, because Nate
used to pull up in the fanciest car, so we was trying to figure out, what was going on with Nate. And we needed sponsorship, so he had them wings and he had them Bentleys, so we had to hit him up one time for sponsorship, man.
And he dropped $1,500. He dropped $1,500 on us.
Nate's a good man.
Nate, he's a good guy.
Still doing good.
Yeah, man. Actually, he's a part of Man in the Mirror. At last Thursday of the end of the month.
Okay.
We're up in here. We get ready to do some big things. Nate is
Nate's always been a mover and shaker.
Yeah, phenomenal guy.
Yeah, always been a mover and shaker.
And that's what really I try to tell people. I have some people that look at the way I do things, and I try to tell them, I say, you don't know the people I know.
Nope.
And the people that I deal with, and so, and it was nothing for you to call me and put me in a position where I was, I'm not going to talk too heavy on this, but I want to talk. So when we was doing the wedding in Mississippi, and the head sheriff and them came up, they had to ask me, could they move in certain areas? I ain't gonna tell you, man, my chest was pumped, you know what I mean? And then I get on the radio, I call Donte, say, Donte, yo, the sheriff want to know, can such and such move in this area? And he'll say, tell him he can't move in that area secure. And then I go back and say, sir, you can't go in that area, and I was like, you know what, come on, bro, it can't get no better than this.
I think, again, that's all how you position the people around you. You put them in power so they can control different things and also make resources. This game, this business is about connections, is about resources. And if you don't have that, I literally just said to somebody the other day, like, if you don't have connections and resources, what are you going to be able to do for your client? You're going to have to be able to, if my client asks for the moon, I need to be able to figure out how to get him as close as possible to the moon. You know what I mean? Just like I always knew Z wanted to go to Paris. You know what I mean? And I went to Paris and I brought her back to Africa.
Yes.
She probably didn't think I even remember that, but
I did it.
I did. Even when I was in Paris, you know what I mean? I know this was somewhere she wanted to go. And I brought her back to Eiffel Tower. And again, things like that mean the world to people.
Yes.
It's not about, hey, give you $1 million.
It's sitting right
You
on my
better still have it.
It's sitting on my dresser. It's sitting right on my dresser.
And I got the thing that you brought me from Dubai.
Yes.
It's sitting right there in the kitchen.
Burj Khalifa, yeah.
Yeah, we still have it, bro.
Yeah.
But for many people, they just don't understand how.
Those are the things people value more. Like, you can give somebody money but time and a token of something that they are
Forever,
and involved in, it surpasses anything.
It was one time that they had what you call it when they talk about people. What you call that? You did a roast. So they had a roast for you, and I didn't get to make it.
No.
Let me tell you, God is my witness. I know that, and my wife is here to verify. It was probably something very, very serious. Because that was for me. I wanted so bad to be there. What I'm looking at is that one day we'll do that again.
We should. It was amazing.
And because you, like I said, nobody can talk about you like me.
No, listen. Phyllis Watson did a good job, and so did Xavier Holmes, and actually Lloyd was there, and my brother was there. But no, I think everybody brings a certain different dynamic to the table. So I was definitely a little nervous on getting on stage and having my great friends and family actually roast me, but it turned out to be pretty funny. And yeah, we probably will do that probably next year.
Yeah, because I do. I mean, like I said, you as a young man, I just really admire your drive. God is good, and I keep in my mind that it's nothing going to stop us from succeeding.
Not at all.
And like I said, in many cases, you put me in the presence of people. We were, I'm gonna say we were sitting talking to Mr. Prince. Remember, we was asking for $70,000. We was talking. This is what we was doing. We was talking to people about doing some major stuff. Actually, if we had worked everything out, we would have been the one to bring Drake out before he was in hiatus when we got to Showplace Arena. And I remember we was trying to get the money, and I think we was talking to what's his name, Jim. He's a rapper.
Jim Jones.
And we was talking about that. We was trying to get Ludacris. They was talking some major money. We was looking at about 40,000.
Yep.
But
that's definitely not Ludacris number now. But
but we was sitting down and we was doing those things, and it was just phenomenal, man. That we was way ahead of our time.
Way ahead.
But God is good, and I'm excited because today you just reminded me. You just reminded me that I still have a purpose.
Yeah, and what you're doing is not lost in translation. You know what I mean? And again, I can only speak for myself, but you know what I mean? I was, at a meeting. The meeting ran late. I was headed to the house. You called and reminded me. I hopped back on the highway, and I headed the direction of where we are now. But again, there's only certain people I think you go that extra mile for. And for you, man, like we will ride to the end of the earth, because you have done that for me when I was a kid, as going into my young adult years. I mean, I've seen it, I've been there, I've heard it. People listening, they may not understand it, but no offense, this is us sharing something with you. It's not for you to understand, but it's also for you to know that we didn't just make this up. You know what I mean? Like we're sharing our past with you. This is our story, and the only reason why we're sharing this because I want you to know that you, your friend, your brother, your sister, your children, they're capable of doing the same thing. If we're giving you the blueprint, and my company, one of my companies is the Purple Print, because purple is the color of royalty, and back in the 1700s you couldn't wear the color purple. Now that you were a part of the royal family, so color means everything. Purple means success. It's a reference of royalty, and it's a reference of success. So we're trying to give you guys the Purple Print to show you that if you can conceive. Now I'm linking two companies here together. Watch me now. We're giving you the Purple Print so you can know that if you can conceive it, you can achieve it. And if you bring everybody together, the power within people in numbers is something different. Y'all like how I just twisted that around?
Yeah.
I know.
And believe it or not, that's why when I go back, I don't stray away from what we started.
You can't.
How we've been working. I had it where one time it was called Real Talk with Rodney Grimes, and then I changed it to People to People, because that's what we're all about. People to people. We network all over the world, and a lot of people would probably say, well, why did I put my name on it? And I'm going to tell you what, when I say this. I put my name on it because my name represents something.
It does. It's a legacy.
It's a legacy. I want my grandson to one day say that if you Google Rodney Grimes, you're going to see that Rodney Grimes was trying to do some things for the community. He was doing some things to help people network. He was doing some things mentoring. Many schools that I got, I remember I was getting phone calls from you, and you would say, yo, Pops, I need you at Crossland High School. We go in there, and we started one class, and before we finished,
we 7 classes deep.
And then they was coming, and then they had me where I was speaking and doing graduations, and it was just phenomenal. So I was just really just intrigued that your drive, man. It was almost like if I had to put you in a car, the way that you was moving, you was driving a Porsche.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm a BMW man, though.
No, but I know. You're a BMW man, but I'm talking about the way that you was rolling. I would have to put you in the Porsche.
We were moving quick.
We was moving.
We were moving quick. It was no stopping us.
Yeah.
And I mean, even in the school system, Prince George's County Public School System treated us very good, and we did a lot of things, a lot of partnerships with them. And then also with Phil Lee, with CPAC, you know what I mean? We
Yes.
did a lot of partnerships with Phil's nonprofit as well. But again, we gave back, and nobody gave us money for time or gas, but the impact and some of the kids' lives that we were changing, like that's what meant the world to me, you know what I mean? I speak about Cameron Lee, you know what I mean, all the time, but at the time where I contemplated, you know what I mean, self-depression and self-suicide, you know what I mean, Cameron Lee was the one, you know what I mean, that brought me out of it, and she was nothing but a high school student at Sarasville High School that, you know what I mean, pretty much, you know what I mean, kept empowering me. And you know, when I finally came out at a dinner that we all was at, and I told everybody, Cameron was there as well, and I told everybody about the situation, but Cameron saved my life, you know what I mean? Just like you saved my life, Cameron saved my life, you know what I mean? I hope that in some ways that I've saved your life as well, you know what I mean? And you know, again, it's just being real. Nobody's perfect, you know what I mean? Like nobody's great. Like clothes, you know what I mean, are just clothes. It doesn't matter, but the person and the heart that you have inside your body, that won't change for years.
I know my wife always give me sometimes, she don't like me interrupting, but I want to tell about something about you said Surratt. I'm gonna show. I want people to understand how the chemistry we had. So you remember you had called me and you said, "Pops, I need you to come to the school because we need you to talk to some kids." I thought I was going to talk to about 20, and then I came up and then you was in the auditorium, and it was about 300 kids in there, and they was all acting crazy. And the principal hadn't met me yet, and you was standing in the middle of the floor, and so I said,
I still have that picture.
yeah, and I was like, how am I going to get their attention? So, now you're way bigger than me. So, even back then, you being young, you was always taller than I was. And I walked up to you in the middle floor and started yelling at you and everything. And me and you had a chemistry. You knew exactly what I was doing. And next thing you know, the whole gym got quiet. And they was looking. And then you took it from there. And it was phenomenal. And the principal, I never forget, he said, that was unique what y'all just did. And I had to tell him, I said, he didn't know I was going to do that.
At all.
I said,
I was like, why are you yelling at me?
but you just, what you did. But again, that was another door you opened and brought me in. I just, much respect to you, man. Much love, man. I tell you.
You did it for everybody else. So I was just paying homage to everything that we have been involved in. There's not nothing that, you know, anywhere I am, you can always be there because that's the relationship. You know, any all access pass that I have, if you show up, you're going to get the same type of pass because
The next time you go to Vegas, can we go?
Now, man, just came back. We just ended the Millennium Tour in Vegas the other day, and it was a success. Shout out to G Square, who put on the Millennium Tour. But yes, let's go wherever you want to go.
Man,
You know
God
what I
is
mean?
good, man. I appreciate you coming in. It's people to people, power to power, positive thinking people. It's PTP. This is what we do.
All day.
And let me tell you something. As he said, wherever he go, I'm welcome. Wherever I go, he's my partner. 100%. I don't care if I'm a multi-millionaire, which is going to be soon.
Yeah.
If they tell me that Donte Cunningham is at the door, they better move out the way to let him in.
100%.
I appreciate you, my brother.
I appreciate you,
know,
man.
and-
Part one,
baby. Part one.
Part one.
Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, y'all have a good evening. It was people to people, power to power, positive thinking people, and we are out of here. And you can close it down. And I know she over there trying to figure out how to shut it down over there, but you can go in and just. I think if you look at the red button up in the corner up there, no, see up there where it's over there, it says "in" down at the bottom. Yep. And did it say "in"? And
Remember, we own the rights to the music that be played on here too. Okay.